Welcome, welcome. What's up, Booty Band members? You got Danita here, excited to do another live every week. We jump in, we get to meet each other every Wednesday. How fun is this? So my most favorite is where we're interactive. So if you're watching this live, go ahead and comment live down below. And if you're watching this as a replay, go ahead and comment replay below. So that way you know where the comment button is so that you know when I'm handing out free booty bands today, you know how you can get it. So usually I do booty bucks, but today we're going to do a 4-pack of booty bands today for the one that has the most booty bucks today. You guys ready for this? Let's get started. So today is all about your confident self. And if you feel like, ooh, it's been a while till you've really felt that like full 100% confident self, then this is going to be a great live for you, okay? So let's go ahead and dive into it. So for all those that are busy babes, I know that we are constantly running around in life, so let's go ahead and get started. How do we identify? I feel like oftentimes we take on these identities, and it'll be great for you to kind of tell us what your identity is as we get through this. But let's first get started with what are your goals overall? Are you trying to achieve maybe a weight loss journey? Are you trying to achieve more confidence in your life? For some people, I've heard maybe it's purpose. But what are you ultimately trying to receive today on our video today? Find the comment button and comment below. Why are you here? And what do you want out of today's experience? For those that find the comment button, we're going to start handing out booty bucks. Like I mentioned, we will be doing a giveaway of these fun booty bands. So you guys will be able to get those, okay? All right. So as comments are coming in, I'll go ahead and read those as they come in, but let's go ahead and get started. So can you relate? Are any of you just feeling like you're not seeing results? I've heard oftentimes I'm chasing my tail. I have a lack of energy. I'm stressed and overwhelmed. I'm confused about nutrition. I've lost motivation, just not consistent. I'm feeling numb with my feelings. I've lost myself. I have no purpose, and I really don't have an understanding of food or workouts. Do any of you relate to those? If you do, go ahead and comment down below so we can start to identify where those are and how we can relate to each other on those. I can for sure relate from my experience. I was about a decade for me, really caught in every single one of these, really struggling, trying to do it myself, and feeling like the further and further I tried, the further and further I would go back. And so today we're going to learn a little bit more about ourselves and what we do. All right, so here we go. I love this one. This is such a great one just to kind of like separate the identities. They're in us, but they're really not us. They come from our past life experiences and they keep us in our mind, but really not in our body. So we feel a total misalignment of ourselves where we kind of go into that numbness and we're fully operating in our headspace, but not as much in our truth. So the first one, if you identify with this one, this is an identity of the independent boss babe. This is the type of woman out there that just is loving to work hard. She is all about reaching her goals. She's all about doing it herself, getting the goal, and it's all about performance. Oftentimes we can be comparing ourselves to others. Maybe it was the way that we were raised or some life experience that made us be so independent we have to do it all on our own. I don't need anybody. I'm the boss babe, I can handle it. So if you relate to the independent, I relate for sure to that one. And go ahead and let us know in the comment section below. The next one is the giver. The giver is a great listener, a supporter, an expert on taking care of other people's needs, and always pulling from an empty cup. There's no boundaries, like there's a lot of blurred boundaries where they're attracting those very dependent type, and they can feel, they're always feeling like they're getting advantage of. If you feel like you're the giver, raise your hand. We have definitely a lot of people pleasers in the Booty Bands and Barbells community, so there's definitely a lot of givers that I've been able to connect with for the last several years being in this community with you all. All right, the next one is the cool girl. This is the funny girl. Everybody gets along with her. She's low maintenance. She has no needs. She's pretending that everything is cool and she just wants to be liked by all. So really just kind of putting down her needs and her priorities just to make sure she's cool. If you relate to cool girl, comment that down below. The next one is the good girl. This is that good, faithful little Christian girl, or for me, I was super Mormon, and so for me, I had to save my whole family. So if I was the good girl, I'd be able to rescue my whole family with all of their sins they were doing. So oftentimes we get labeled as the good girl. So if you're living that and creating that as your identity, let us know. The other one is the perfect one, the perfectionist. You have to be like this best mom, best wife, best sister, best business, or just the best friend. All of these identities of just being absolutely perfect, which has created a lot of these extremes in your life, feeling like you're starting and stopping, or just trying to keep it all together as one. And the last one here for identities is the evolved woman. This is the one that's just trying to or the one that basically has it all figured out. So I don't have to worry about anything. I did my work and I have it all figured out. And basically the higher above everyone's self. And so then people gravitate to you of maybe being the healer. Okay, so any thoughts as far as labels we put on ourselves? All right, so we've got independent and giver. Definitely me. I relate a lot to that one too. Thanks for sharing. You want to find a solution to not being able to move past this plateau. I hear you. So let's keep going as we start to identify those together. So thanks for sharing. Let's go to the next one is the extremes. This one is such a profound one. Working with clients one-on-one this week. Very, very apparent as far as the all-in, all-out mentality. And you can see that in that is our limiting beliefs when we're operating from that all-in, all-out. So how many of you have said to yourself, oh, I'm just going to start again? Or I fell off the bandwagon. Or I started and then I stopped. I just want to give up. So those to me are very extremes of living those limiting beliefs, definitely not in full alignment with yourself. And so the balance, the alignment is where we can achieve. And so if we feel like we're chasing our tail, if we feel like we're in our struggle, it's really being able to find that harmonious balance. How do we get there? Great question. Let's dive into it. So you have to understand a lot about what really separates us from being ourselves. And a lot of what we mentioned as far as the identities above, there's going to be fear. But what if we let go of the boss babe? What if we let go of the independent or the giver? What happens? You might see that there's going to be a little fear. It's called a sponsored thought of fear that might come up. What if that wasn't you anymore? It might be a little scary to think, well, what would I do with that type of identity? So fear is a low frequency, long, slow wavelengths, activates very few DNA coding sites. What that means is when we're in fear, we're not aligned with ourselves, with even to an extent of our DNA. So going back up to here, no wonder why there's no balance and alignment. When we're operating in fear, we're going to be going into those all in, all out, into those limiting beliefs. All right, let's go back into it. So every thought and emotion has its own vibrational frequency or wave frequency. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the toroidal field that can exist around you, where you're either magnetizing things to you or you're actually have such a small energetic field that there's no magnetic energy. You're really in what's called a contracting type of frequency rather than an expansive type of frequency. So deep down at our cores, there's only two emotions. Everything else is just a subset from love and fear. Those are the two primary emotions in humans, and all other emotions exist under these two primary emotions. So if we're in fear, we're not in a place of love. And when we're in a place of love, we cannot be in a place of fear. You have to choose between love and fear. So since you cannot feel both love and fear at the same time, you have to likely choose one or the other. And many of us would rather be in a place of love than a place of fear, but we have to actually choose that place rather than allowing fear to take over, which can be difficult, but let's find out how. So our truth expands us. So how does it actually truly, I like the scientific part. If you guys haven't noticed, I don't like that woo-woo stuff. I like to just give me the facts. I like to hear really how does the frequencies really align us to reach our goals. So if we're trying to achieve our goals, we feel like we're hitting a plateau, what's in our way? High frequency, short, fast wavelengths activates many more DNA coding sites. So notice the difference between fear, how little it activates on the DNA, versus love. Look at every single one it connects. So this expanding energy feels like we can take on the world. I hear often when I take women through the program, I'm capable of anything. I'm unstoppable. I can express. I'm excited to experience. I can now receive. I feel seen. I'm aligned with my purpose. I found passion again. I have more energy, and I'm excited to discover and invent and play. Isn't that the most beautiful thing? Pretty cool. So, how many of you are? See, I want to read your guys' things. Okay, we got the good and the perfectionist. Many times in the past, all or nothing. Yeah. So if we're finding ourselves in that all or nothing, it can be quite difficult, especially if we're trying to reach our goals. It feels like it's like we never get there. And the truth is, you're right. We never reach our goals when we're always in those extremes. So let's actually play for this for a little bit. I want to see what you guys think about this. I think this is kind of fun to talk about. So let's talk about fitness because we're here, but also see how this relates to business, relationships, everything across the board when we're living in those extremes. Okay, if we work out too much, let's say 7 days a week, we're just full on and we're just working as hard as we possibly can. In that extreme of all in, yes, we know that there's burnout. It's not possible to be sustainable. But even if we could keep it sustainable, what's happening is muscle actually grows in our deepest sleep, in our off days. So we know about muscle from our previous calls that that's our metabolism. So if people that are working 7 days a week and never have that rest day, you can see that the extreme is doing more harm than good. Now we know the opposite, that if we're not doing anything, obviously we're not going to build the muscle either. So being able to find that balance. So oftentimes people are always asking me, how does 15 minutes really work? How can it actually work? And the result is this. If you are being consistent with a 15-20 minute workout, rather than inconsistent with your hour-long workouts, where do you think you're actually going to see the benefit? Now we know that 15-20 minutes, if you're using resistance training, you're going to actually be building the muscle memory, being able that if you did take a pause, that it can develop a lot faster. You're working a lot smarter, not harder than just doing a bunch of the cardio. So they've been finding a 15-20 minute strength training workout is way better than an hour-long cardio workout. The results are there. They have actually, I just spoke to, it was a pretty cool podcast. I spoke to a doctor and she's been revealing that in like home cares, like off-site home care places, they've been actually taking cardio machines away and starting to replace it with bands and strength training equipment for the elderly. And that is what can help keep them with a longer life. Pretty interesting. So let's go into a couple other areas. Where can other areas of our life, I'm asking you now, not only with fitness, but these extremes in life, whether it's all in or all out, why we always feel like we're never reaching our goal? Let's see what your comments are. I love the comments coming in, the emojis. What's up, girls? Love it. It's awesome to see you on here. I'm going to go ahead and point out another one while you guys are writing, okay? So another one is, so let's say in business, okay? If we are overworking, could we actually be doing more harm than good? Could we actually be doing a lot of everything but never mastering that one thing? So oftentimes we're going to see that these extremes play out in so many elements of our life if we're not finding that balance and alignment. And so oftentimes what I hear when women go through coaching is they say, I had no idea the ripple effect it would have into other areas of my life. That's my favorite line ever, is that they had no idea other areas of their life would be improved. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into All right, here we go. Comments coming in. So we got a lack of consistency. You're right. In business, if we're overworking, that lack of consistency, so finding that flow, that balance, you're so correct on that. The next one is there's no balance. We miss the rest, so we can't fully catch up. Correct. Yeah. So operating from this place that we think we can. Ah, yes, the ripple effect. All right, you must know, you must know. What's interesting is I can't see names on here, so I bet you must be probably in the one-on-one, I'm assuming. All right, we got another comment in here. It says, I start thinking that I don't need to keep working as hard to watch my food and exercise. Yes, that's my girl. In the extremes is where we are plateauing. If we are constantly starting and stopping, falling off the wagon, on the wagon, if the programs that we're trying are so difficult to achieve. Ah, we got Miranda. She is in the program. Absolutely. I figured because you're making comments. So great to have you in here too, Miranda. Okay, so going into now, what is the activity that we can do today? I always like to leave you with some sort of activity. So I want you to grab a pen today and let the words flow. Discover being truly seen, safe, and vulnerable. Take up space and explore and receive. So going back to those labels that we create for ourselves right here. Are you being the independent boss babe where you're just reaching a goal and you're doing it all by yourself? Or are you being the giver where you're just supporting everybody else but you and you're pouring from that empty cup? Or the cool girl, just pretending that everything's cool and you have no needs whatsoever? Or the good girl, that good, faithful little Christian girl or whatever religion, and just the good one? Or the perfect one? Or the evolved one? What identity are we creating for ourselves that's really holding us back from our truth? Something that is these labels, identities from a past event or experience, but just kind of keeping us more in our head rather than in our bodies. So that's one right there. Grab a pen and just kind of discover. You guys mentioned a little bit there as far as some of the identities that you are starting to see. Explore those. So what I did today, and I wanted to share with you what I did on this, is write yourself a letter. Write yourself a letter. Write, Dear me, I know that I am that independent overgiver, the good religious happy girl, pretend everything, all that. Allow yourself to be seen. Allow yourself to see why these identities were there in your life, and start to realize that maybe those events were a protection mechanism at some point in your life, but now it's okay to let them go. Pretty cool. After that, number 3 is all feelings matter. So embrace your feelings and share your experience. What a cool place, what a beautiful environment Booty Bands and Barbells has become. I remember I initially started the Facebook group probably about 6-7 years ago. It was back in 2017. And I had no idea what it would turn into. Not even the slightest clue. To be honest, originally how it started was a big mistake of mine. That a lot of the product was originally built with rubber and the material wasn't lasting. So I had built a community to bring the women together to actually replace all of their product. I had no idea what it would turn out to today. And it's so beautiful to now see the genuine, the vulnerable, the constantly supporting, uplifting spirit that the women have accumulated. Because I'm going to be honest, not all women feel comfortable with women. A lot of us have had, whether it's controlling or comparing or terrible relationships with moms or friendships, etc. So being able to heal those bonds back with women has been such a beautiful experience to have all of you. And so for those that are listening right now and you're just kind of like, this was a little foreign to me, or maybe it's like there's been so much numbness of the feelings in your life and you don't even know where to start. Sometimes you're just in those experiences that we mentioned up here of if you're not seeing results, chasing your tail, a lack of energy, feeling stressed and overwhelmed, total confusion, which creates loss of motivation, just not consistent, having a numbness of those feelings, you've lost yourself and you have no purpose. if you're really relating to those, my recommendation is to dive into a coach. Now, I would always, again, the identity of myself was independent, strong woman, don't need anybody to help me. But it wasn't until I hired a coach that saw pieces of me that I didn't see, or the extremes that I was in and was able to catch those, or the things that I was doing that was just not actually putting me towards my results, such as doing a bunch of endurance training but actually wanted to be sculpted and toned. We can often be doing very wrong types of training or eating the wrong things that really lead us to a weight loss journey, but ultimately want to do body recomposition. So many different elements of not having an expert. And our life is so, I think one of the biggest mistakes that we as humans, I've been seeing this lately, is thinking that we have time. Thinking that we have time. When in reality, that's one of our biggest things is time. And so being able to fast track that time. So if you are seeing that it's getting harder as you're aging, the time is to start now then. We don't need to get harder as we age. If anything, you should be improving as you age. And if you're not on that trajectory of improving as you age, then you're doing something vastly wrong. There's something for sure as an approach to take. So if you're ready to really start to take back time and start to see that there is an element that you can get better with age, I want you to comment "I'm in" down below so that we can directly speak to you and see if there is something that we can connect with and support you with, all right? So just to let you know, the curriculum that you'll be involved in is we have 30 modules of what we kind of talked about today, but some other items would be form, movement analysis, where we actually will go through your form, nutrition and macro training, shaping techniques, tracking true progress, not a scale, but tracking real other measurements that allow us to see if you are improving. And the mindset part we do is with the emotional part, which is the total integration. It's an integral context of being, relating, creating, and living. So basically what we were mentioning before, being in your balance and alignment, that's where we bring you. Your true self, she's there. So the piece of you that's like on the call today, the piece of you that know that there is a higher element of you, that knows that the goals can be achieved, that knows that she's just sometimes getting in her own way with whatever identity she has on herself, then this is your time. This is your time. I want you to listen to your higher self and know that you don't have to do it alone. Okay? Love it. You guys were awesome tonight. So switching topics here, did you guys know that we're starting the July challenge? And it's going to be starting this Sunday, if you guys don't know. So the challenge, you guys, is the Rocker Babe Challenge. So if you are able to get into your best outfits of anything rocker related, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The videos are going to be very high energy. And what we're going to be doing in this challenge, you guys, is be going through drop sets. We're also going to be focusing on balance, and we're also going to be focusing on really improving your strength. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to read some of your comments here because I love your comments. The most real group, so grateful to be a part of it. Oh, I love it. My coach changed my life. I'm in such a better place emotionally, mentally, and physically. That is beautiful. Yes, it can. Been doing this since Danita Young started. Oh, that is amazing. I love it. All right, I'm going to leave it open for any questions that you have for the next 2 minutes. I think questions are where we grow and evolve. That's what I love about this program so much, is being able to empower each other with knowledge. That's why jumping on here and going through certain elements, whether it's tracking right progress or going into macros, or I don't know if you guys saw my smoothie recipes this week, but go check those out into the Facebook group. Being able just to provide information and knowledge as a collective is really pretty cool. So go ahead and let me know if you have any questions down below. As far as the winners of the last challenge, I will be posting those later tonight, so stay tuned for those. The June challenge, which we did Sculpt and Tone Over 40, will be announced tonight. All right, and the next July challenge will be starting this July, And if you would like to have a one-on-one coach going through that challenge to fast track your results, you can just comment "I'm in" down below, and we'll be able to have one of our coaches come out and reach out to you. Yes, delish. You were able to try some of those? I love it. I added it to my acai bowls, the powder. Oh, that's so cool. So I have a whole lineup in my freezer right now of all those fun smoothies, and it makes it really simple when you have the majority of the ingredients that usually kind of go bad, such as fruits and vegetables. Having them frozen in a Ziploc baggie makes it so much easier and convenient to just toss that into a blender along with, let's say, your almond milk or yogurt or what have you. Oh, love it. So I'm glad you guys like those. Let me know if there's any questions down below. If you guys have it, find that comment button. I had a couple questions earlier today. I'll go ahead and go through those for those that are watching this even on the replay. The challenges come out monthly, and the winners are able to, there'll be 3 winners at the end. So you'll win 1 month of the one-on-one accountability, or you'll get the protein powder, or you'll win 3 months into the Booty Bands and Barbells app. I also had another question as far as where are the workouts hosted in the challenges. So we have a calendar. If you don't have it, make sure to go to the Facebook group, and we have this really awesome calendar that we come out with that has mindset, nutrition, workouts, all part of the challenge, and all the videos will be hosted in the Booty Bands and Barbells app. Awesome. All right. Well, it was awesome connecting with you ladies tonight. I think it's always a blast, and enjoy it thoroughly. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. If you can, go ahead and write down your identities. Remember, write a letter to yourself, and starting to connect the head and the body and allowing yourself to fully feel. Love it. Last 12 pounds and need to retone. Love it. That's awesome. That's a great win right there. Time to tone. We're here for sculpting and toning. We can lose weight, but let's lose the right kind of weight, all right? All right, you guys have an amazing one. Thanks for jumping on tonight, and I'll see you guys on our Sunday's first day of our challenge, okay? Bye, everyone.